Today, we're going to talk about high blood pressure, but we're not just going to rattle off a bunch of dry, boring medical facts. We're going to dive into the top 7 real and sometimes surprising reasons why that blood pressure monitor so often shows alarming numbers, especially as we enter our golden years. And I promise, some of these might just make you look at the problem in a whole new light. So, let's kick things off with a simple analogy. Imagine your blood vessels when you're young. They're like a brand new, perfectly flexible garden hose. Water flows through it with ease. But over the years, that hose naturally starts to stiffen, losing its elasticity. This is a completely natural process. And now, to push the same volume of blood through these stiffer pipes, our heart, that tireless pump, has to work much, much harder. That increased effort is precisely what registers as high blood pressure. But aging blood vessels, that's just the tip of the iceberg. So, what else is lurking beneath the surface? All right, let's talk about the first reason. It's the most fundamental and perhaps, at first glance, the most obvious one. The natural aging process of our blood vessels. Let's go back to our garden hose analogy. When we're young, our arteries are like that brand new, flexible and elastic hose. When your heart pumps a fresh gush of blood into them, they gently expand, absorbing the pressure. This keeps your blood pressure steady and normal. But as we age, everything changes. The walls of your blood vessels lose those special fibers, like elastin, that are responsible for their elasticity. You could say they lose their natural stretchiness. The walls thicken, becoming stiffer and more brittle. This process is known as vascular sclerosis. Simply put, our flexible hoses gradually turn into unyielding pipes. And this is where things get interesting. Now, with each beat of your heart, these stiffened vessels can no longer smoothly expand. They don't absorb the pressure wave. As a result, every pump of blood from your heart creates a sudden spike in pressure within this system of rigid tubes. Your heart is forced to work under constant strain just to push the blood forward. It's this very process that lays the groundwork for the development of hypertension. It's the fundamental base upon which all other factors accumulate, snowballing over time. All right, if vascular aging is the foundation, then the second and very insidious cause is the walls we build on that foundation over the years. This refers to the burden of diseases accumulated throughout our lives. Let's start with the kidneys. Our kidneys are our body's primary filters. They regulate the amount of fluid and salt in our system. Imagine your body is a swimming pool, and your kidneys are the drainage system. If the drain gets clogged, water starts to accumulate. Similarly, when your kidneys aren't functioning well, they retain excess water and salt in your body. More fluid in your blood vessels means higher pressure. It's that simple. Furthermore, kidneys produce hormones that regulate blood pressure. A malfunction in their work disrupts this delicate balance. Now let's talk about diabetes. This is another powerful ally of hypertension. Elevated blood sugar is like a sticky syrup flowing through your blood vessels. It literally scratches and damages their delicate inner lining, making them even stiffer and more vulnerable to cholesterol plaques. In other words, diabetes accelerates the very process of vascular aging we just discussed. And often, these two enemies work in tandem. This creates a vicious cycle. Diabetes damages the kidneys struggle and raise blood pressure, and high blood pressure further damages the blood vessels, which are already weakened by sugar. Therefore, if you have these diagnoses, controlling your blood pressure becomes priority number 1. Because here, hypertension isn't an independent adversary, but a powerful accomplice to other ailments. Moving on to reason number 3, a classic duo guaranteed to send your blood pressure soaring. This involves what's on our plates and how often we get up from the couch. First, let's talk about food, specifically salt. Sodium, the main component of salt, acts like a powerful magnet for water in our bodies. When you eat something salty, your body actively retains fluid to dilute that salt. As a result, the volume of blood circulating in your vessels increases. Now imagine this. You have more fluid, but your pipes, the blood vessels, remain the same size. Naturally, the pressure inside them rises. The real danger isn't the salt shaker on your table. It's the hidden salt lurking in processed foods like sausages, cheeses, bread, canned goods, and ready meals. The second half of this powerful duo is a sedentary lifestyle. When we don't give our bodies regular exercise, the heart weakens, just like any muscle without training. It becomes less efficient. To pump blood, a weaker heart has to contract more frequently and with greater effort. Plus, without movement, blood vessels quickly lose their elasticity. Regular physical activity, however, is the best training for your entire cardiovascular system. A simple walk, light exercise, or swimming. These all help your heart work efficiently and keep your blood vessels flexible. This duo, excessive salt intake and a lack of physical activity, is a simple yet incredibly potent recipe for high blood pressure. And now, let's move on to our fourth point. And folks, this isn't just some number on the scale. We're talking about excess weight. Remember carrying heavy backpacks full of textbooks back in school? Well, every extra kilogram is like one of those backpacks your heart has to lug around. But not just for a few hours a day. We're talking 24/7. No days off, no holidays. But that's not all. Excess fat isn't just dead weight. It's living tissue that needs to be nourished. To supply it with blood, your body is forced to build an entirely new network of vessels. Literally, kilometers of extra capillaries. Can you imagine that? Your heart then has to pump blood through this vast, expanded system. The strain on your heart, your body's engine, increases exponentially. What's more, fat tissue, especially the kind that accumulates around your belly, is a veritable hormone factory. It produces substances that constrict your blood vessels and maintain a state of constant low-grade inflammation throughout your body. So, not only does your heart have to pump more blood along a longer route, but the pipes themselves are narrowing. This is a double blow to your cardiovascular system. That's why even a small but consistent reduction in weight can bring enormous relief to your heart. And now, for the fifth reason. This is something many people tend to dismiss as just nerves. But in reality, it's a potent factor that directly impacts your blood vessels. I'm referring to chronic stress and poor sleep. Picture this. What happens when you're startled or intensely worried? Your heart starts pounding, your palms get sweaty. That's the work of stress hormones, adrenaline and cortisol. Their job is to mobilize your body for action, the fight or flight response. And one of their key functions is to sharply constrict blood vessels, increasing blood pressure and directing blood to your muscles. In the wild, this was a life-saving mechanism. You spot a predator, your blood pressure skyrockets, and you run. Afterward, your body calms down, and pressure returns to normal. The problem is that in modern life, our predators are constant worries about our children, financial anxieties, or even just bad news on TV. These don't just disappear in 5 minutes. As a result, our bodies are in a constant, perhaps not intense, but chronic state of alert. Stress hormones are continuously produced, and your blood vessels simply don't get a chance to relax. They remain perpetually constricted, almost in a state of spasm. Now, add poor sleep to the mix. At night, during deep sleep, your blood pressure should naturally decrease. Your body rests and repairs itself. But if you're sleeping poorly, tossing and turning, or waking up from anxious thoughts, this vital drop doesn't happen. Your cardiovascular system works tirelessly all night without a break. It's like driving a car without ever turning off the engine for weeks. The wear and tear happens far more rapidly. This is why peace of mind and quality sleep aren't luxuries. They are essential medicine for your heart. So, the sixth hidden culprit, one that's often overlooked, is lurking where we least expect it, in our very own medicine cabinet. Yes, we're talking about certain medications. It may seem counterintuitive, but drugs you take to alleviate one problem can subtly create another, specifically raising your blood pressure. And this isn't to say that these medications are bad or that your doctor made a mistake. It simply means many common drugs have side effects you should be aware of. So, who are the main suspects? First and foremost, we have certain non-steroidal, anti-inflammatory drugs, or NSAIDs, which many people take for joint pain, backaches, or headaches. Think ibuprofen or diclofenac. They can cause your body to retain sodium and water, which, as we already know, leads to increased blood pressure. Another group includes certain decongestants, often found in cold and flu medications. Those very drops that quickly clear up your stuffy nose work by constricting blood vessels in your nose, but this effect can unfortunately extend throughout your entire body. Even some herbal remedies which seem completely harmless can impact your blood pressure. For instance, licorice root, often found in cough syrups and teas, or St. John's wort. It's important to understand this is not a call to immediately throw out all your pills. Absolutely not. This is a call for awareness. If you regularly take any medications and have noticed an increase in your blood pressure, it's a serious reason to discuss the situation with your healthcare provider. They may be able to find an alternative that won't impact your blood pressure as significantly. And finally, the seventh reason. The most overlooked, the most subtle, and perhaps the saddest of all. It's loneliness. Yes, you heard that right. This isn't just a metaphor or flowery language. Social isolation is an incredibly powerful biological stressor that directly harms the health of our heart and blood vessels. And today, science is conclusively proving this. When someone feels lonely, unwanted, or disconnected from others, their brain perceives this as a threat to survival, just as a predator was a threat in ancient times. And in response to this threat, the body activates that very same fight or flight response we've discussed. Stress hormones are released, inflammation levels in the body increase, blood vessels constrict. But unlike an encounter with a predator, loneliness is a state that can last for months or even years. This means a person lives in a state of constant background stress. Their cardiovascular system never truly gets a break. Loneliness isn't just about being physically alone in an apartment. You can be surrounded by people and feel utterly alone. Conversely, you can live alone, yet have friends, pursue hobbies, regularly connect with loved ones by phone, and still feel a part of the world. And this is where blood pressure medication falls short. They might temporarily dilate blood vessels, but they can't address the root cause, that deep-seated feeling of anxiety and abandonment that wears down the body from within. That's why a call from your children, a warm chat with a neighbour, or joining a hobby group isn't just a pleasant pastime. For an elderly person, these are as vital a medicine as medication for hypertension. And this leads us to the heart of the matter. Most of us are used to thinking that high blood pressure is just about age, salt intake, and body weight. But look at the last three factors: stress, medication, and loneliness. These aren't just numbers, they represent the quality of our lives. These last 2 points are particularly crucial. Imagine this scenario. Someone takes medication to relieve joint pain, but these very same pills, slowly but surely, increase their blood pressure. They're caught in a vicious cycle, not realizing what's truly going on. This is not a call to abandon your prescribed treatment. Absolutely not. This is a call for an open dialogue with your doctor. Always ask about potential side effects and seek a comprehensive solution. What about loneliness? It's not just about feeling sad or isolated. It's scientifically proven that a feeling of isolation triggers the same stress response in the body as a physical threat. This is chronic stress that literally wears down your blood vessels from the inside, day by day, and no blood pressure medication can replace warm human connection, a call from your children, or a friendly game of chess with a neighbour. Here's the real plot twist. Our emotional well-being directly builds up or breaks down our physical health. So elevated blood pressure in old age isn't a death sentence, nor is it just old age catching up. It's a complex signal our body is sending us, a signal that we need to reevaluate not just our diet, but also our emotions, our social circle, and the list of medications we're taking. Thank you for watching this important video all the way to the end. If you found it helpful, please give it a like and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss new insights. Now, a question for you. Which of these 7 causes was the biggest revelation for you? Or perhaps you've experienced something else we didn't mention. Share your thoughts in the comments below. Your experience could help others.